Now, Positively Ernie with Ernie Anastas, a New York TV legend and radio host with great positive stories and interviews.
Thanks, Ernie. You're the best.
And now, here's Ernie.
And hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. We're back again. And you know I love positive stories, positive people. I want you to meet somebody today that I absolutely adore. This guy is the smartest person that I know. His name is Shelly Palmer. Take a look at this face, and you should see inside of his brain. This guy is incredible. Shelly, I've known you a long time.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm really good, and great, actually. Thanks for having me here.
Shelly, people should know, a lot of people do know you because this guy is he's a guru. Advertising, marketing, technology. This guy's a professor at Newhouse up in Syracuse University. He's CEO of his own company. It's a consulting firm, and he does so many things. He's written books, and I want to talk about other things that he's done because he's a real master. First of all, you never stop. No, seriously. I mean, I follow a lot of the emails you send me, and you're everywhere doing all kinds of summits and forums and so forth. Shelly, I want to talk about so many things. First of all, give me a headline, because we've been in the news business a long time. Give me a headline. What is the most astounding thing that you have seen now in the world of technology? I'm going to guess it might be AI, but I want to hear from you. What is it?
Well, it is AI, but it's not probably the way people are thinking about it. It's the transition from curation to generation that we're going through right now. And that's how AI is being used. When I think everyone thinks that AI was invented on November 30th, 2022. It wasn't. That's the day ChatGPT became a consumer product. And I think everyone knows by now it was the fastest consumer tech to 100 million users.
Huge.
So, it got everybody's attention. It got a lot of press.
Yeah.
But what didn't get a lot of press was what that meant. Because prior to November 30th, 2022, if you and I were to go on the public web online and search anything, wouldn't matter what you search, you had a 99.9% chance of whatever you find being created by a human being and solely by a human being.
Yes.
Post-November 30th, 2022, the advent of ChatGPT as a consumer product, every single day, we can call this the generative era. We are going farther and further and further into a place where we're no longer the sole writers of human history. We're now writing it with machines. And so you've got the ability to curate the stuff we've written in the past, but now we're able at no or very low cost in near or at real time generate content that we could never do before.
Shelly, you are so knowledgeable when it comes to this field. I mean, I don't think anybody else knows what you know. And people, by the way, should know that you back some time, you ended up patenting something that was really interesting. Interactive television that was picked up by ABC, Wide World of Sports.
Yes.
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Good memory.
Academy Awards.
I
mean, really, this interactive, you're amazing. You created something. You are like AI in your own field.
Well, we've been doing. Everyone thinks it was invented last year or 2 years ago. It wasn't.
Right.
AI starts in the 50s. And it was a tool called Perceptron, brought to you by the Office of Naval Intelligence, which became ARPA, which became DARPA, the people that brought you the internet. And its job was to figure out whether there was a square on the left side or the right side of the card, but do it autonomously. Like it was an artificial intelligence, the first kind of engine that was able to do that. But we've been using AI across every aspect of all technology for literally the past 40 years. Again, when ChatGPT became a consumer product, everybody goes, "Whoa, this is amazing! It's new." It's not new, but it is amazing.
Yeah, it is.
And what is amazing about it is that this class of technologies allows us to create in a way we could never create, to generate in a way we could never generate, and it poses all kinds of threats as well as opens up a world of opportunity. Like all good technologies, it's got a light side and a dark
plus
side.
and a minus. I want to ask you about that because, we've done a lot of different stories and people read and they see. I mean, AI is applied everywhere. Education, business, in the world of technology. I mean, whatever it happens to be. And people say, okay, what's the real upside of this thing? Okay, let's start with that first of all and say, how is this going to improve lives? How will it help us become more intelligent? How will it improve our way of dealing with everything that we have to deal with in life? And it's such a wide spectrum. So give me an overview in terms of how good this can be.
In the best of all possible worlds.
Yeah.
And Ernie, this is a unique, special case I'm inventing here. The best of all possible worlds, where everyone has good intentions and we're trying to benefit mankind. So this is not the world we live in. It's the best possible world.
Okay.
You would be able to use the entirety of the technologies that are grouped into the term AI. And it's not just generative, it's not just ChatGPT. Okay. There are a wealth of technologies, and when you put them all together, you have a cognitive, non-repetitive thinker. You have a human being, a mimic of a human being's thought capability, but with a computer's capacity to search. Now, human beings are pattern matchers, just like the tools are. Yeah. And what we're able to do with our human brain is something that no one fully understands, no matter who they are and what they say, which is we're able to do what we call creativity. But we have to separate that out. What is it to be creative and what is it to execute creatively? These are two different things. Yeah. If I can teach you a method, hey, first do this, then pick up the paintbrush, then dip it in the paint, then make a brush stroke. If the brush stroke is like, if I can teach you the method, I can teach that method to a computer. What I can't do is give it the spark of creativity at the moment that makes a human decide to paint.
The human element.
Whatever that is.
We'll never lose that?
I don't think we ever will. But what we are going to have to understand is that the executional element, which many people confuse for creativity, oh, they can type 100 words a minute, doesn't mean they can write a novel.
Yeah.
Right? Because you have great craft or great technique does not make you creative in that task. And if you are creative, it doesn't mean you have the skills to have other people hear and understand what you're creating. So here's the benefit to mankind. I am someone, hypothetically, who's never studied art, who's never studied music, who's never studied literature. But I want to communicate something I feel in my heart, and I want other people to understand it. If I can describe it in any way, and that pattern has ever existed anywhere in the public internet, then an AI model like GPT-4 can build and generate this for me in a way that you could understand. I want to have, I'll make a joke about it. I want Marilyn Monroe on the top of the Empire State Building holding King Kong upside down and shaking him to get the change out of his pockets. Well, I wouldn't have this ability to paint that, but I've just described it, and a text-to-image generator could do that. So the ability to give agency to people or to slightly democratize the ability to communicate, that's the magical part. Understand that all languages are able to go into large language models, including languages people don't think are languages. The languages of proteins in the human body, the languages of electromagnetic radiation bouncing off the walls here. And this allows science to explore in completely new ways. And so the benefits will be that we have new ways to communicate, new ways to realize our communication, new ways to search the information we have. And as the computers get better at what they do, and they're gaining capability exponentially, we are likely to see some wonderful advances across the entirety of both business and science and education.
See, Shelly, you're giving us a lot of information. I know there's a lot more, but, as I'm listening to you, I'm saying, I get excited. And I think it's very important to have enthusiasm in life, okay, to try something different, to learn and to grow. If we don't do that, there was a sign of the botanical garden. The only sign of life is growth.
Right.
And it applies to us as human beings. So we have to grow. We have to stretch ourselves and say, this is something new, and there's maybe a plan for us to be able to do this.
Look, I agree with this in every way. People are afraid AI is going to take their jobs. And
that's the problem.
And so I'm going to try and make this very clear. AI is not taking anybody's job. People who use AI better than you do are going to take your job using these tools. Now, I said a moment ago, it could gently democratize certain aspects of our ability to communicate.
Okay.
But what it really does is it's a skills amplifier. And this is how you have to look at it. If you are great at your job, then this wide range of AI tools will make you more productive. A lot more productive.
So you're saying here, Shelly, that the important thing is for us to recognize, the AI factor and become part of it in some way,
100%,
use it,
100%.
or else we're going to be in left field.
Well, here's why. If you're great at your job, you will become exponentially more productive, and productivity is clearly the key driver of economic success. So if economic success is your goal, then you want to be more productive. You can't change what you sell your goods and services for.
Okay.
The market sets that price. But you can change what it costs you to make the product or service. And so this will make you exponentially better. If you're good at your job, just good at it.
Yeah.
This will make you, according to Harvard University, about 40% better. I think it's closer to 5 to 40%. People perform according to their gifts.
Okay, so there are people now who are listening and watching us and saying, Shelly, I like what you're saying, but how am I going to get into this act?
Oh, it's easy.
Where am I going to learn this? Who's going to teach it to me?
Super easy.
It is?
It's super
Oh,
easy.
tell us about that.
So just to complete my thought, and then I'm happy to tell you a little bit about it. If you are terrible at your job, this is not going to make you good at it. This will you'll still be terrible. These are amplifiers. These tools amplify your abilities. Okay. And your subject matter expertise, what you know, is what makes this stuff really work. And the reason I'm saying this is when you type a prompt into an AI right now, any AI, it doesn't matter what it is. If it's a chatbot and you type something in, if you don't know what you're looking for as an output, if it fools you into thinking it's done something real, you might say, well, it's hallucinating or it's giving me false information. You don't know whether it's real or fake. Then you haven't brought enough to this technology to use it well. And this is the danger. If you're great, you're going to get super great. If you understand what you're doing, it's going to help you do it better. If you don't know what you're doing, it's going to get you there faster too. Now, where do you learn about it?
Yeah.
First of all, nothing I've learned about AI is hidden knowledge. There's no like magical book with high priests of AI. And the technical jargon that people are afraid of, they just have to get over. There's a bunch of words. Think of this as super automation. Now we're done. I can automate anything. Anything that I want to automate, I can automate. So the best way to learn is to start with a problem you want to solve. Rather than to say, I need to learn this. You might. Can you use it in your job? Can you use it in your vocation, your avocation? You could have a PTA group. You could have a scout troop. It doesn't matter. Let's say you have an outcome you are looking for, your problem you're trying to solve.
Yeah.
Now, what tools could you use to solve this problem? And if part of what you're trying to solve is, I need to create a marketing email, I need to create a story, I need to understand this work a little bit better. Someone just sent me this document, I don't really know what it says. Here's a spreadsheet, I really don't get it. You can put this spreadsheet into the current model of ChatGPT and ask it, what does this spreadsheet say? What are the insights I could gain from this spreadsheet? And it will teach you literally how to understand the world that you're asking it to understand. So if you've got a problem to solve, then you will be able to learn how to do this, and all the information is available for you.
But Shelly, again, I always think about what people are listening to and watching. And they're probably saying, I like what you're saying, but if you're a young person and you understand technology, you can do it. If you're, midlife and, you're trying to continue with your career, are you going to be stuck if you don't understand it? Where do you go?
I don't think so. First of all, you can go to a lot of places. There's lots of free courses. We offer a free course at shellypalmer.com/AI, cleverly.
Oh, that's very good.
Yeah, shellypalmer.com/AI. And there's a free course there that will teach you how to use ChatGPT and all the text-to-image and text-to-video tools. But importantly, the best way to learn is to go online to any one of the tools. There's a free one from Meta right now called Meta.ai. The nice people at Facebook, they renamed the company Meta.
Yes.
So Meta is the Meta.ai, and it'll look like just a little chat window. It's just a little window. Type anything you want in there. Start there. It's free. Yeah. You'll get there without any muss or fuss. There's no logging in. There's not. Just Meta.ai and start typing. If you want to get a little deeper, you can go to OpenAI, which is the company that brings you ChatGPT, and you could get a ChatGPT account. But that would actually require you to log in and think about it. But if you knew nothing about tech, if you just knew how to get on the web, just go to Meta.ai and start to play around.
I have to ask you this. I love everything you're saying. There are people who are also saying, look, there are a lot of conspiracy theories. There are people who start thinking like, wait a minute, robots are going to take over.
Oh, please.
We're going to have a war. We're going to destroy humankind. It's going to be misused to a point where we're going to be destroying lives. We'll be taking all these virtual images and all kinds of things and harming young people. putting up images, that are going to harm them in many ways, leading to suicide and a lot of other serious problems. How do we counter that?
Okay, if I had the answer to all those questions, Ernie, I would, be something else. Here's the thing: the data elite, the 7 biggest companies on the S&P 500, and you know who they are.
Yep.
Already have done everything you've just described. 100%. They are. Our youth is too involved in social media. We have misinformation, and the weaponization of information it's very robust, and our country's in a very divided state through technology right now. There's no question about it. Let me separate out the societal problems that we already have that are definitely being enhanced by technology from the fear of AI and what people are, the perceived threat of AI. And I just want to take that in a little box for a second, and then we can talk about the larger issue. AI is not going to destroy anything. AI has been around for years and has already done its damage. There's no such thing as Terminator or Skynet. You're not in a world where the AI is going to become conscious and kill the world. That's all nonsense.
Yeah, but you hear those stories.
From people who know nothing and just like to make up stories.
Yeah.
It makes a good story.
True.
If AI is going to end the world, it's not going to be AI. It's going to be the fact that we need an immense amount of energy to run AI data centers and compute centers, and that we need an immense amount of chips, which are very hard to make and very expensive. Yeah. And in history, human beings have a pretty bad track record when it comes to how they deal with lack of resources. They start wars over them. Oh, so people will kill you for a drink of water. They'll kill you for food. They're going to kill you for electricity, and they're going to kill you for chips. So this is going to be, if AI is a threat to humanity, it's not the AI itself. It's the fact that we'll become addicted to AI. Yeah. Need it desperately and will want to have the best version of it. It will be weaponized, and we will fight each other over. We will fight each other. The AI is not going to fight us. Yeah. We're going to fight each other. We're going to fight China. We're going to fight Russia. The CEOs of OpenAI and Microsoft have announced that they are going to build Stargate, the first $100 billion supercomputer specifically for AI. Now, they expect it to be online by 2028. Russia's going to build one. China's going to build one. The EU is going to build one. And Positive India is going to build one. And, now all of a sudden we're going to have these massive supercomputers that do amazing things. They're not going to hurt us. They are going, they may hurt us if people want to use them to hurt us, but the AIs themselves are not going to hurt us. There are an enormous number of very well-reasoned scientific papers and writings of all kinds that will explain in pretty good detail why the AI itself is not the threat. That said, people historically fight over stuff, and these tools make you more productive. They're going to make you a more productive fighter also.
Interesting.
So, it's like, yes, there is a threat from the technology, but by the way, that threat, and if you want to solve it, if we want to give some people, you want to do something about it, really personally want to do something about it, you want to call your elected officials and say, we need real data privacy protection laws, not fake ones, not politicized ones, well-reasoned, well-thought-out data privacy and data security.
Good thinking.
Because the only way that AI gets trained is with data. So in a couple of weeks, Apple is going to come out with their iOS 18, their operating system for the new iPhone.
The new iPhone, yeah. And an iPad too, right?
Well, they just came out with that. But the operating system that will take advantage of the chips that are in the new iPad, the M4 chip, will come out in the middle of June at their developers conference. Now, Apple is unique because Tim Cook, their CEO, has a strategy that says every Apple device is going to be totally secure and totally private, and they won't give up anything that's in the device at all to anyone, no matter what. Well, what's in my iPhone? Well, my personal health information is in my iPhone.
Sure.
My personal information of all kinds, my financial information. Yeah. If the AI was running locally on my phone and couldn't get out to the outside world, to the cloud, of course I'm going to want that level of assistance. Of course I'm going to want to let the phone help me do all the things that the phone could help me do.
Sure.
And so we're not really going to know much about AI for consumers until Apple has their developer conference in a couple of weeks. And then we will get a little tiny glimpse into how the benefits will be infused into the Apple operating system and their whole ecosystem. And then we'll know. As far as like
Yeah.
big models, they're for big business right now,
Yeah.
and people shouldn't worry that much about it.
Americans love using their credit cards, the most secure and hassle-free way to pay. But D.C. politicians want to change that with the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. This bill lets corporate megastores pick how your credit card is processed, allowing them to use untested payment networks that jeopardize your data security and rewards. Corporate megastores will make more money, and you pay the price. Tell Congress to guard your card, because Americans lose when politicians choose. Learn more at guardyourcard.com.
You must be like a kid in a candy store.
I am.
I mean, really, because this is such an incredible field for you. You've been doing it all your life, and now you're seeing all this. Let me ask you this. I could continue talking for a long time. Let's put AI aside, and it's kind of interrelated, but other things that are out there that will help us change our lives, improve our lives. We talk about driverless cars and things like that. Talk about a couple of these things so that people can get excited about it.
Look, for me, technology is only part of the problem or the solution. And the way I look at technology is that technology is meaningless unless it changes the way we behave. So ChatGPT has got people writing birthday cards for their kids and packing lists for their trip, but it's changed a little bit of behavior. But we haven't really felt the full force of AI because we're about to transition from these task-oriented interfaces where you say, do this, do that. You describe something. It's called prompting. You prompt the model to give you some output to what's known as autonomous agents, where you tell the agent a goal. You don't tell it a task. You say, write me a story about Ernie Anastas.
Yeah.
I don't tell it what kind of story. I just ask for the story.
Yeah.
As opposed to me saying, you're acting as an author who has a full and complete understanding of Ernie Anastas' life. Your audience is people who are giant fans of Ernie Anastas. Please write a short story about, I'd have to go through.
Yeah.
Here, I would just say simply, hey, write me a story about Ernie, and it would know, and it would do the work. Now, these agents will do other things. For example, you'll say, you may say or not have to say, you may put in your calendar, you want to go on a trip to Paris. It's going to go find you the best airfare and make the purchase. It's going to find you the hotel, and it's going to book the hotel. It will go and do what agents do. It will become, that's where this is going.
Yeah.
And the question is, how much data will it need to get there, and how much data will we allow it to have?
Sure.
And which is why I said data privacy is going to become the biggest of the big things. But where technology takes us is any place that you can positively impact someone's behavior, then you're going to see a technology fill that gap now. And so when I look forward, I think about where the behavior changes. I want better health care. I want better health outcomes. So sure, I'll use these new sophisticated tools that pretend to think to help me have better health outcomes, to help me with my diet, to help me with my exercise, to help me with everything that I need to do to be healthier. And you take that across the board. So I see this as a real opportunity for lifestyle improvement, for just the doing of life, just to be better. And look, like we said earlier, everything comes with a yin and a yang. Everything comes with a good and a bad. Yeah. But I think, if you have a positive attitude about what this is, and I do, I'm always optimistic about the future, and I'm always optimistic about technology. And, all technology is not inherently good or bad. People are inherently good or bad. Technology is technology.
Interesting point.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you use it well and you use it for good purposes, then you're going to get a good outcome.
Shelly, I love this. Before we go, one final question. Based on what we were just talking about and the world and looking into the future, if you were to give a newborn baby some advice about life from your perspective, something that they would be able to look at later in life and say, gee, this is interesting, what piece of advice would you give that little newborn?
Never stop learning.
Never
lose. A child has this unbelievable ability to dance like no one's watching, sing like no one's listening, right? That whole bit, okay?
Yeah.
We lose that. And most of my friends who get to be a certain age, they definitely lose it. And I think that is the greatest crime, that you take that away from yourself.
I love it.
Never steal that from yourself, ever.
I love that. It's a great... remind everybody again where they can go to your website to be able to get information on AI and everything else.
Sure, thanks. You can subscribe to our newsletter or learn about AI or take our free courses at shellypalmer.com. Everything is there. ShellyPalmer.com.
Yeah,
Easy,
I love it.
Easy to find.
Folks, did I promise you something special? Did we deliver here? This guy is amazing. Shelly, I love you. You are terrific. You really are.
Right
God bless you and your family.
Thank you.
Continue your wonderful work, and we welcome you coming back again sometime.
I look forward to it.
Shelly Palmer, thanks so much for watching, everybody. Have a great day.